Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are here to review the final season, season 5 of Insecure, episode 2. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you are back for a second or third time, then welcome back, child. Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. Let me say it one more time. Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. Now, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. So when the episode first opens up, we see the alarms going off and the days going by, the apartment's filling up. It's no longer looking like a grunge apartment. It's starting to get the zhuzh that it deserves. And now it's 1 year later. I was like, 1 whole year? Well, child, if we hopped 1 whole year, where's Lawrence and Condoleezza? Like, where's the baby? Like, did they have the baby? Is he still in San Fran? Like, did he come back? Like, what happened? Like, did he try to come back after she used him for a lift and broke up with him? Like, somebody please give me some answers. Like, I just needed a little subtext before we really got into it. So we see Issa waking up on one side and Molly waking up on the other. But honey, they woke up with 2 different things on their mind, okay? Molly grabs her vibrator and Issa had a buzz, but it was coming from her electric toothbrush, okay? So she's scrolling IG and she sees that the block hit 10,000 followers, right? Here she go. The block is hot. The block is hot. Hot, hot. And y'all know I love a good soundtrack, honey. A girl after my own heart. So Molly got her a good old natural fade. Okay, girl, we love to see it, baby. They lined you up perfectly. Do you hear me? Faded in the back, a little line. Honey, I love it. So in the kitchen, extra early, making waffles is Koya, which is Issa's assistant, because her roommates were climbing the walls a little bit too loud for her, i.e. her mama and her daddy. She was like, yeah, my roommates were fucking too loud this morning. My roommates are my mom and my dad. Well, honey, we love to see the black family together. Moving forward. So Molly is thriving at the firm. Issa and Molly back on BFF good terms. We love to see it. Then we see Issa at this book signing. So this lady comes out and she's like, I love coming to these. The last one you had, it really was great. You saved my life. Issa was like, oh, okay, thank you. And then she stood there staring for like 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, ma'am, move on. Like, go ahead on, ma'am. She was really giving me the creeps, child. I'm just looking at how far Issa has come. And this just shows, you know, like with a little perseverance, you can really achieve anything. I remember her at the Dunes and now she got her own, child. Hashtag growth. Somebody. Okay, this whole episode was about the growth of it all. Because I just remember that dark, dreary apartment that her and Lawrence shared, and then he left, and then it looked all depressing, and then she tried to get the man to have sex with him, but honey, he wasn't having it. Then she came back because the whole place was cleared out, and Lawrence was there in the kitchen reminiscing for old time's sake. Because, you know, they had broken up, right? And she had to turn in her keys because she was going to live with her brother, but she really wasn't. She was going to live with Daniel. Y'all remember that? Child, from then until now, I love it. In the next scene, Issa and Molly have a pasta night and a sleepover. I love a good BFF sleepover, but please face the other way. Okay? Get out of my face, best friend. Like, I don't want you sitting here looking at me in my face. Oh, no, ma'am. In the next scene, Issa's at the barbershop with Nathan, his unreliable ex. Okay? I can't stand Nathan. Let me just say this. I understand he was going through some issues, you know, last season when he ghosted her. But I mean, it was a whole month and she was looking at that phone every single day, hoping that he would text, call, send a smoke signal or whatever. Thank goodness that Molly ran an interference, even though that would have pissed me off because I would have been like, girl, if you don't let him fawn over me and try to get me back, girl, goodbye. But you know, it's just the toxic in us. And Issa actually was pissed that Molly ran an interference when he came with those flowers. But I'm glad she did that because, I mean, this is the thing. With his track record, don't come around on this girl's birthday and then try to get her hopes up and then all of a sudden pull the rug from up under her. Honey, not on my watch. Shout out to Yana. Child, no ma'am. So they're talking about a party that he's throwing and then they go grab a bite to eat. No, Issa, we don't want it. Well, I don't want it. Nathan ain't it. I want Lawrence, okay? But you know what I noticed, honey? Issa gonna double back to an ex if she don't do nothing else. Child, I'm like, I know we gotta rotate the men and whatnot, but girl, in the next scene, Molly's at her parents and she's talking to them about estate planning. And she's like, okay, y'all can do all this, but you can't call the estate planner like I asked you. And they're like, oh, okay, well, speaking of planning, then they hand her this notepad piece of paper with their wishes written on it, right? The fact that Molly got the good plates, that was a whole mood. I said, now she got the good plates. Oh, no, ma'am. She's like, y'all wrote this in pencil. Her mama said, yeah, I had to erase a few things because your brother pissed me off. If that ain't my mama, I'll give you $1. Child, that is something that my mama would do. Write everything down. Honey, there ain't but 3 of us, but she gonna write everything down, erase and replace if you get on her nerves. So while they're talking, over comes Herbert in his church sweater. I'm like, oh, child, who is this? She's like, you remember Herbert from church? So Molly was like, oh, the one that became a deacon at 15. Yeah, I remember him. So then her mama said, yeah, we were at choir rehearsal and I told him you two should connect. I mean, he plays the organ and you listen to music sometimes. Mama, what are you talking about? Child, please don't hook me up with him in this sweater. He said, yeah, you remember me. I rework trap songs for the Lord. Not you rework trap songs for the Lord. Let me see if I can do one. They say she gon' do what or who? Let's call God and see. Cardi B. Shout out to Cardi B. Now I see what Herbert be doing, honey. I see what he doing for the children's in the church. Got it. Moving forward. She was like, Mom, please don't try to hook me up. I'm not pressed to be dating anybody. So Mama is like, well, at this rate, the rate you going, honey, your daddy gonna roll you down the aisle because he'll be in a wheelchair. Why do I feel like y'all, like all this talk about the estate planning and the pressure that they're pulling on Molly, one of her parents might not make it. Now, I hope I'm wrong, but it's just the way it's being set up. It's giving me very much dread. I don't trust it. I just don't trust it. In the next scene, Issa is giving a presentation about Crenshaw and his fashion line. He's straight out of prison, but he's doing it for himself now that he's out and he's reformed. So Koya comes in, that's Issa's assistant, and she's wearing one of his designs. She's like, yeah, you can take it from day to night. It's day right now, but it's going to be night later. Girl, goodbye. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, child. So they were very impressed with the presentation of it all. But then they started telling her that he isn't on the level of other artists. And, he may need to dial it back. They're like, yeah, just think about it, Issa, and just let us know what you think. I think that the presentation was awesome. So it's a green light. That's what I think. So she comes to Molly's for dinner and it's pasta night. And she's on the phone with Nathan. She's like, yeah, you better car pay that DM. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Girl, it means seize the day. He better seize that day. I know that's right, child. Look, that needs to be on some merch. You better car pay that DM. Girl, you better trademark that. So after she gets off the phone, Molly is like, oh, I cannot believe y'all are friends. Honey, I could never. So Issa said, he's seeing somebody. Plus, he got a whole bevy of bitches. Okay, how many just make a bevy? She said, I think it's 7. I laughed so hard at that. I'm like, not a bevy. So she starts telling her about what they said about Crenshaw not having experience. She's like, I don't understand how they want you to get experience if they never give us an opportunity. Just another way to keep us suppressed. Okay. I never understood that. I never understood how entry-level positions ask you for experience. It's literally entry level. Like, what? Like, I just never understood that. But they go sit down to eat. And while they're eating, her mama blowing up the phone, sending Molly all kinds of pictures of Herbert. So Molly is like, oh, I wish she stopped with these pics. Issa said, he can't look that old. Let me see him. Honey, Ann can. Okay. So she shows her the phone. She said, his dad cute? Show me him. Nothing. Girl, his daddy is cute. Show me him. Still nothing. Girl, his daddy's cute. Show me him. Girl, that is him. You your daddy's son. Hey. Girl, oh my goodness, honey, I am done. Moving forward. The next day, Molly is reactivating her dating app. I just can't get into the dating apps of it all. I just cannot do it. You know what it is? I like to interact with people. I know that you guys can't see me, but at the same time, I'm a very social person, especially when it comes to someone I'm dating. I don't feel like I can really get to truly know you by some questionnaire that you filled out. Because first of all, I wholeheartedly believe that some of those answers are all lies, okay, to get matched with somebody. And secondly, I don't know, honey, I need to stop watching the ID channel late at night. But that's just me. So she's looking at all of the things that she had stated on her app before, right? So they flash back to all of her relationship woes. And me personally, I don't think it's time to jump back in, but I am glad she's reflecting though. I'm glad she's reflecting and seeing what it is that she did wrong so that she could correct it. And I know it's been a year since she broke up with her boo, But I think she's almost succumbing to the pressure of her parents. Like, let me just get back on this dating app and start dating some people because mom said the dad's going to be in a wheelchair. Like, I hate that pressure that our families put on us. And I know I told y'all before in another review that my mom was telling me, yeah, by 23, you should be married. Yeah, in 1902. And what did I do? By 23, I was married. A fool. Girl, goodbye. Moving forward. Issa goes to have breakfast with one of her superiors, right? Because Molly has suggested to her that she just goes over Seth's head because Seth was saying that Crenshaw didn't have the experience. So she was like, well, why don't you talk to your boss's boss? And she was like, bet, that's a good idea. But little did she know the boss's boss was going to call Seth to come to the breakfast. So they all showing up here, right? With Issa, and she's trying to convince him that giving Crenshaw a chance will put NWB in a great place to say that they discovered him. That was a smart play. That was real smart, Issa. You're thinking on your natural feet, okay? I love to see it. He's like, okay, but I have notes. She's like, oh, I love notes. Love notes, the notebook. You know, it's just sad at the end. We've got to find a cure. I'm like, something's wrong with this girl. They really had a lot of comedic moments in this episode. And y'all know I'm goofy. So, honey, I was all for it. In the next scene, Crenshaw, a.k.a. Kofi, with his beautiful self. My God. Ooh, that is a beautiful melanated man. Do y'all hear me? So he's at the place working on his designs. And Issa stops by to let him know that they have the green light. Shout out to John Legend and Andre 3000. So she's letting him know that they have the green light and whatnot. And he starts getting all hype. Yeah, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Not so fast. Okay, they have a few notes. She's like, yeah, about that. NBW does have a few notes. They want you to simplify the show. You know, they want you to cut the part on perseverance and the lowriders and everything that makes the show the show. And he's like, that's one of the best parts. He said, yeah, you know, this might not be the move. They want to change the entire show. And you know what? It's really a struggle. Because you want to get the big backing and you want to get the funding and you want to be in those spaces, but you want to be authentically you. So for us and our people, it's hard to be authentically ourselves and be in those white spaces. It's really hard. So, I mean, it's a juggle and a struggle all the way up and through. Do y'all hear me? But Issa's trying to convince him that it's a good move. She's like, you know, I talked to them about, you know, all of the other artists. He said, other artists? She's like, yeah, but I talked them out of that. So he wants to remain true to his vision, but at the same time, he doesn't want to mess up the opportunity. But after she gets through talking to him for a little while, he finally comes around. Moving forward, Molly calls her mom to apologize about pressuring them to do the estate planning. But I didn't think it was necessary to apologize. I think that our people need to make sure that they have things in order because too often people pass on and leave the surviving family to figure things out. It happens all the time. Things need to be in working order. And while I'm sitting up here talking, child, I was just talking to my friend and I was telling her that I need to get me some life insurance and get my estate planning in order. Because, I mean, you're never too young. And, child, you know, just thinking about the fact that I only have one child and I don't want to leave him to have to figure everything out. I mean, those are things that need to be done. And I never thought I would be raising my parents, okay? This scene really showed me this is what I go through with my own parents. I try to tell them something, try to help them out, child. They don't want to listen. I'm like, oh, honey, this is the circle of life. So it's the day of the show, and Koya is using that good old metal detector on Molly because she did act up at the last one. She's like, yeah, She still thinks I brought a gun to the block party, honey, and does. We know you did, Molly, but honey, in the middle of that, an interviewer comes up all invasive to get an interview. Issa declined it, but then the reporter tried to spin it. So she was like, okay, girl, I'll interview with you. While she's in the middle of the interview, Koya is like signaling like there's a 5-alarm fire. So the lady is like, is everything okay? She said, yeah, that's a special cheer we do when everything is going as planned. Child, the way I laughed about her Rhythm Nation moves to that fake cheer. Child, I said, Issa is a fool. So Koya's like, yeah, it's about Crenshaw. So she goes in there. Baby, it's lowriders. Everything that was cut out of the show is present and accounted for. Do y'all hear me? So she's like, this looks like everything that we cut. He said, yeah, you know, it didn't feel right, so I added it back. She's like, we are a team. Why wouldn't you tell me that? He said, because I know you're going to talk me out of it. Baby, he said he will not be silenced. Do y'all hear me? So they start going back and forth and back. And Issa tells him she had to do so much to get him there. And he's like, you're not my savior, Issa. So, baby, he started piping up a little bit. I'm like, oh, I know I ain't your savior. Child, I love it. He's like, I'm not no sellout. I'm not going to be like a bunch of artists that I don't respect. And the whole time that he was talking, I was thinking, is he a fashion designer or a recording artist? Child, I was so confused in that moment. Anywho, Crenshaw wasn't hearing nothing Issa had to say, honey. And in the end, he said sound check in 5, and he meant sound check in 5. And the show must go on. So the show starts, and it's good. Molly was like, it's not so bad. And Issa was sitting there holding her breath. Then all of a sudden, did all my invisible ninjas go to heaven? Did all my invisible ninjas go to heaven? I said, oh my God. Oh my God. Baby, the way Molly's face looked. Baby, I looked over there at Seth. He was looking like, oh my word, what is happening? Oh gosh, not the ninjas in heaven. Yeah, did they all go to heaven or not? Honey, that's what we need to know. So Issa's like, they're going to fire me. I'm going to have to go back to driving lifts. Like, why do they even take my sticker off? Girl, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're going to be fine, child. You're going to be fine. I thought the show was awesome. Okay, I thought it was everything. But then again, I have an artistic mind. So to me, honey, I'm all for it. We are always asked to dial back. Don't do this. Censor that. I'm happy he stayed true to his vision. The same way where they ask us to change our hair to fit in with corporate America. No, I'm going to wear my wash and go. I'm going to give the zhuzh that my natural hair wants to give. And I don't see why that's a problem. So I respected the fact that he stayed true to him. I was all for it, y'all. So Seth finds Issa and she's like, oh, hey, I was looking for you. He said, you didn't take the notes. She said, well, I talked to him, but he's a loose cannon. But Seth was actually like, no, he's actually a missile. I loved the show, honey, as you should. People gravitate to those who be themselves. Let me just give y'all a word of advice. I had a really good friend tell me this just recently. She said, you know why Cardi B is so successful? Because she is authentically her. I don't care what space she's in. I don't care if you call her ghetto. I don't care if you call her ratchet, or in the case of Miss Wanda over on Love and Marriage Huntsville, I don't care if you call her ghetto. Whatever it is that you call her, Cardi B gonna be Cardi B. Okay, she gonna be her all day and night, and people gravitate to her, and that's why she's been so successful. So honey, never dim your light, because the right people will get in your corner. I mean, that's just my advice. Moving forward, after the show, Issa texts Nathan to get a drink, honey, because she done looked at that full moon, feel like one of those nights, honey, and she thinking about Lawrence and whatnot, so she called him. And they go back to her spot, right? So they're talking, and he's telling her, you just really can't be everything to everybody, telling her how you tried to learn to braid and all of this. But she's nodding off. So he's like, man, you falling asleep. I'm about to just dip. She was like, no, why don't you just spend the night? Honey, I know about wanting that comfort after you've had a breakup and you're vulnerable and you just want a little rebound action. So you be like, just get in here and stretch out. But my thing is this. Why he not sleeping on the couch? Why? Okay, so he comes and gets in the bed. Honey, Issa gonna keep her face to face in that bed if she don't do nothing else. So he comes and gets in the bed. They start kissing. Baby, he thinking he about to get some cutty. They getting into it as they get into it until Issa starts crying. All in his mouth. I know, girl. We miss Lawrence too. Well, I know I do. Okay, why did he have to pull a Duran Davis? Girl, everybody ain't med school. Everybody ain't gonna take you back after you had no baby. Child is a fool. But Issa, you should have just let him leave, okay? Because quiet as it's kept, Nathan is not the guy for emotional support. So, I mean, you should just let him go when he said he was going to call his lift. Lift on up out of him. So Nathan is like, you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I was ready. So then she looks up, and baby, Nathan done dipped. All you hear is the door closing. First of all, don't leave up out of my house without telling me you leaving so I can lock my front door. That's number one. Number two, really, dude? See, this is why I don't want him for her. This is exactly why I don't like him. Because why couldn't you just be there for her in that moment? See, he couldn't handle being just friends. That's what it was. Now, on the flip side, I do understand. He is flaky. But I know that some men would be like, yeah, you're not over him, so I'm good on this. But to me, it seemed like you're not over him. You sitting up here crying when I'm just trying to get some. And the fact that he left proved to me that he was just trying to get some. Now, that's just my opinion. You already disappeared once. I'm just not a Nathan fan, okay? She needed a shoulder, and he left without so much as a goodbye, and I was not feeling it. I said what I said, honey, I ain't changing it. I really wish that she would just leave all these old flames alone. That's the problem. She loved to double back. She loved to circle back around and go back to an ex that she already dealt with. Leave that ex where that ex is, honey. After you heal, I mean, see what Crenshaw hitting for. I mean, he ain't doing nothing else. If you don't want to go back to Lawrence after the break baby of it all that condensation had, then just go ahead and see what Kofi talking about, because the way he looked at her, I was like, oh, okay, honey, I think we're going to see more of him, and honey, I am here for it. Now, I judged the episode up, and I love me some Issa Rae. Yes, I do. And I love me some Insecure. But at the same time, I want us to have a little bit more if this is the final season. Let's hurry up and get into it if we're going to get into it, honey. Please don't hesitate to comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. What was your opinion of Crenshaw staying true to his vision? Do you think he pushed the envelope and it could have backfired on him? Or do you think he did the right thing? What do you think about Issa trying to appease the masses instead of going for what she knows? I mean, she saw his vision, but at the same time, she got to stick behind the brand. Y'all comment down below and tell me exactly how you felt. Don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.